Jotaro and Yuta, I'm gonna have to clarify and debunk some of the atrocious high balls people try to give them to like glaze how strong they are. Especially that Lightspeed JJK stuff, bro. That is like the most atrocious scaling ever. And I am so happy that Dabra finally debunked that entire Lightspeed JJK meta. That was so annoying to deal with. But first, we have to start with Jotaro. And some of the really atrocious glaze I see for Jotaro is that he has town level AP. Town level AP in JoJo's. And you may be asking, how do they even come to this conclusion? Well, it's two main fights they pull from. Number one, the Sun Stand fight. Now, the Sun Stand is not actually the sun or actually as big as the sun. It's only about like 100 meters in the air, and the user of the stand has to stay in a close vicinity of the people he's trying to attack with it. Now, the Sun Stand is able to attack with flaming debris, and we even see Silver Cherry deflect some of this debris. And for some reason, people will dead look you in the eyes and tell you that this flaming debris is town level AP. The same debris that we literally see the Crusaders block and hide from a rock. They use a rock to hide from this quote-unquote town level debris. Literally in the scene, they use a boulder as cover and it's working. And Jotaro's plan to save them from this quote-unquote town level AP debris is to make a hole in the ground and hide under like some rocks. And it worked too. It literally worked too, bro. This is a problem with power scaling. Instead of just watching a series and making accurate interpretations on how strong the characters are from their feats and from the statements in the show, people will have the most ridiculous, absurd interpretations just so they can push an agenda to make their favorite characters seem way stronger than they actually are. There's no actual logic, just terrible meter illiteracy and terrible glaze. The next quote-unquote town level feat we see from Jotaro is whenever he fought the Stand Judgment. Now, the Stand Judgment forms as a mist, and this mist is so big it's able to cover an entire town. And the logic behind this is that because Jotaro was able to suck in Judgment, meaning he sucked in a mist that covered an entire town, he therefore has town-level attack power. But this quote-unquote feat falls on its face for so many reasons. First of all, the anime literally specifies that all Star Platinum is doing is sucking in Judgment's face, and because of that, Enya cannot breathe. Or if you read the manga, this quote-unquote town-level feat becomes even worse. We visibly see Justice manifest right there, and we can see how big it is. This is not some gigantic town-level apparition. We see the maximum amount of fog that Star Platinum inhaled. But it doesn't stop there. This fake town-level feat is triple garbage, dude. After the fight is over, we find out it wasn't even a town to begin with. If you actually watch the entire episode, the plot twist was that the place they were in the entire time was just the cemetery. Judgment just created the illusion they were in a town. They were just in this small cemetery the entire time. Now, I know the comments will definitely be filled with more ridiculous, out-of-your-mind statements, but I wanted to tackle those because those are just so, they just sound so funny that people will seriously say that to you. Now, don't get it twisted. Star Platinum is still incredibly strong and fast, but there's a problem. Jotaro is not anywhere near as strong and fast as Star Platinum. actually covered very early in the series. Your stand could theoretically be invincible, but the user is not.
Do you understand?
And we see multiple times in the series that other stand users and even Jotaro, who is a pretty strong dude, is still just a human, bro. In the Steely Dan episode, when Jotaro couldn't use Star Platinum, a bunch of regular people were able to deal heavy damage to him. They beat him up and he was struggling to get up, he was bleeding. And in part 6, we literally see Jotaro get shot by a pistol, and it did damage. It literally shot him, he had holes in his body, bro. Jotaro does not have some crazy superhuman durability. Star Platinum has to block attacks for Jotaro. That's the entire point of a stand. Another example is right here. When Dio threw Jotaro to the ground, Star Platinum had to take the impact of the fall for him. I'm only really trying to explain this because JoJo's The Literal series explains this, but people will still dead look you in the eye and tell you, no bro, characters, they still to their stands. That doesn't make any sense, bro. You can literally just watch the show, and the show will tell you otherwise. The show itself disagrees. But that is pretty much the end of the Jotaro segment. Let's move on to Yuta.